King Krule is Archie Marshall, an English musician, rapper and record producer, credited with creating the Bluewave genre, inspired by disparate artists ranging from Elvis Presley to thePixies. Archie experiments with elements of jazz, post-funk and hip-hop, with lyrics exploring his experiences with sex, aggression and conflict. You're tuned in to Roots to Grooves.
Well, same old Bobby, same old beat. Well, yeah, they got nothing on me. The same old cars, same old streets. But yeah, they got nothing on me. Yeah. And easy come and easy go. Yeah, I'm sure I told you so. They just want you for your door. Man, I'm sure I told you so. Well, your dead job has been eating away your life. You feel a little inside, but trouble and strife. And now you spend your evenings searching for another life. And yeah, I think you've got it in your sights. Well, easy. There's no need to take that toll. Well, easy. I'm on the telephone. Man, just leave us alone. Oh no, I should've kept my receipt. Cause this sandwich I bought, yeah, it's been off for a week. And now Tesco's stealing my money. When positivity seems hard to reach, I'll keep my head down and my mouth shut. Cause if you're going through hell, we just keep going. You're easy, so easy. You're easy. Man, just leave us alone. I'll be 1 minute on the phone.
Hey everybody.
What's up?
Welcome. Hello Jesse.
What up, Jay? How's it going? This is Roots to Grooves.
Roots to Grooves. Here we are.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
It's good to be back. Another beautiful night in Seattle.
At least it's not raining tonight. It was horrible yesterday.
Yeah.
I had a wet shoe.
That's not good. Wet socks are the
Wet
worst.
Socks, yeah. It was,
That is a day ruiner.
It was so bad that I went online and bought some new shoes afterwards.
What'd you order?
A lot of things that I might return, but you know what? It's Seattle and it rains a lot and I don't own any waterproof shoes. So I finally shelled out.
Not allowed to wear an umbrella in Seattle either. That's the thing.
Yeah, windbreakers.
Yeah.
Is what people
just
say.
have a
You
nice
to
jacket.
Nice jacket with a hood or something like
Some
that.
waterproof shoes.
So there you go. Everybody, there's some tips if you ever come to Seattle. But this week, I'm talking about King Krule.
The King of Krule, huh?
Yeah, King Krule. Have you heard of King Krule before?
I think I've heard the name beforehand, but I didn't know what was going on or who it was. Mm-hmm. Just kind of one of those things. You probably told me about him before.
Yeah.
Archie Ivan Marshall.
That's his real name, yeah.
It's the real one on the birth certificate, I think.
I think so. Archie Marshall.
Out of the UK or London?
Yeah, London. He was born in a neighborhood kind of called Southwark.
Southwark.
Yeah. It's one of those tests. I've been out of the UK for so long. I know now. I'm probably
You're losing the accent.
My fellow British people will be like, you can't even pronounce Southwark.
Everyone knows how to say that one.
Yeah, like a borough of London. That's where he grew up.
Born 1994.
Yeah.
So he's like 26 now. So he's still pretty young. He's been doing all this
young,
work.
Yeah. I didn't even know he was that young. I like looked it up and I was like, damn.
Yeah, I was super surprised by that too.
Yeah, because his first release he went by the name Zoo Kid first.
So he has a few releases before he came out with his first debut album.
Yeah.
And a bunch of those EPs kind of ended up on his first album.
Yeah, I think he put together some like singles with a guy called Jamie Isaac, Jamie Isaacs. It was a guy that he went to art school with and was like collaborating on some music.
They were pretty tight. They started collabing together.
Yeah, so he started making music around then, kind of thing.
And that's when they were in college.
Yeah, an art college, the Brit School. It's a performing arts college, but he was studying art, I think, there. And so to backtrack, like he, I think, kind of had a troubled childhood growing up.
That's what I was seeing too.
Yeah.
Maybe some mental issues or...
Yeah, I think he like got into a lot of disciplinary issues in his high school. He skipped school a lot.
Didn't like the authority, I guess.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think his parents split up pretty early on as well. So when he was younger, he would spend time living between his mum's house and his dad's house.
Right.
And he said that, you know, his mum's pretty lax, but his dad was a bit more of an authoritarian. Mm-hmm. So he used to actually literally have to carry him to school. Otherwise, he would just hide and skip it kind of thing.
I saw that. I mean, what a brat, right?
Yeah, kind of. And yeah, and so I guess like he just got into trouble. I mean, I went to school before him in the UK, so I know what it's like.
Yeah.
I've been in like in my high school, they split up like the different classes into like 3 groups of people. Mm-hmm. So like for math and science and English, they'd have like 3 tiers. There would be like, you know, the really smart kids, the not so smart kids, and then everyone else.
Everyone else.
Yeah, and I was good at English, so I got in the top thing. For maths, I was in the middle, and then, which I don't know why, because I'm really bad at math. And in science, I was in the bottom, and that class was just like, it was just like all of the badly behaved kids. They were literally like up in the face of the teacher, telling them, I'm going to punch you in the fucking face. And I had teachers that couldn't deal with the pupils at all and stuff like that. So I feel like, I don't know Archie's kind of school experience, but I feel like he might have been kind of one of those types of kids that, you know, I kind of got along with those types of kids still, because they're still okay, but they just had issues. And I guess now people get diagnosed with like dyslexia and like learning difficulties.
Right. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. So I know I did read about Archie that he had, like he had to spend a lot of time in hospital having all these tests for like mental issues, and he said it took a toll on him to the point where he like didn't like people anymore, and he was like shut himself in his room kind of thing.
So I think you could see a lot of this in the lyrics if you look through his discography. He's often talking about that kind of where he's coming from in his mind and what he's gone through, and it sounds like there was a lot of contrast, a different weekend, different parent, maybe in the hospital, feeling different things in his head. Obviously super artistic at the same time, and able to create and be prolific. But I mean, I can't imagine. It sounds like kind of he was coming from a little bit of a rough childhood, you know, a little bit unstable maybe. Yeah,
and I think so. I'm not sure at what age, but he managed to be able to leave school and get some home tutoring, and then he managed to get into the performing arts school, which is the Brit. It's called Brit, BRIT.
Oh, it's not short for anything. It's just Brit.
I didn't.
The Brit.
I think so. Yeah.
That's what I saw too.
Yeah, exactly. I briefly looked at the Wikipedia page for it, and I was like,
it's Brit.
Yeah. I wasn't going to dive too deeply into the foundings.
It's not
of
what
the school.
This is about.
Exactly.
Not what this is about.
But it seems like it was so he kind of had issues when he first started there again, because it's like kind of a school environment type thing.
Right.
But he soon kind of settled in and found his place, and was studying art. And then he met this guy Jamie, and sort of started making music around that time as well.
Totally.
So like his parents were musical as well, right?
I think that's where he got kind of that influence. Mm-hmm. Was it his dad? I think was an artist, and he also started playing with his brothers. So there was definitely some music in his family.
Yeah, it sounds like he said his parents were both musicians, and he had an uncle as well, was a guitarist.
Yeah, was right as an uncle.
Yeah, so he said his parents have always made music, and one interviewer asked him if they ever released anything, and he was like, no. He's like, they just do it for leisure.
Right. I remember seeing that interview. That's super cool. They're just, and he said they're doing it all the time and writing songs all the time. Yeah. And maybe a lot of them don't see the light of day, but they're doing it for themselves, for their own. Yeah.
Which would be interesting to hear what type of music they're doing. He did say his uncle was more like a ska type guitarist.
Ska?
Ska.
Ska.
Yeah, ska. Yeah. S-K-A. Like
I've adapted to the accent and like scar.
Yeah. Scar.
What does he mean?
Scar. Ska. How do you say it? Ska?
Yeah, ska. No, exactly how you said it. You said it right.
I think that he got a little bit of inspiration for his playing from his uncle that way kind of thing. So yeah, it sounds like he was, around music a lot growing up.
Yeah, a lot of different kinds of music too. Yeah, I think some of his influences are Rap King. Some of these I haven't heard of. Yeah. Silas. Jamie Eilis, Jay Dilla. I think I've heard of Jay Dilla, but none of those other names.
Well, I haven't heard of those other names either.
If that means something to anybody, there you go. That's where he's getting some of his stuff. But obviously, you can tell this guy has a wide range of influences. Yeah. As maybe a lot of artists do. The more and more genres get influenced by each other and mixed up.
Definitely, yeah.
In today's musical world.
Yeah, he seems to have he's into Elvis Presley as well.
Yeah, and it was one of Elvis's movies, King Krule, which is where his name came from, right? Yeah. So that's a cool little tidbit fact, which I've never seen that movie. I don't know.
Neither have I, yeah.
It's an Elvis. So. Yeah. Is it like one of those Beatles movies where they're like just acting as themselves?
I'm not sure. Well, Elvis did a few movies like in the 50s, I think.
Just as an actor?
Yeah, as an actor. They weren't, he would sing in them and stuff like that, but they weren't about Elvis being an artist. They were like, he was playing a character. And he'd just go into song on the guitar or something.
This guy's good. I'll have to check that out though. King Krule.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that. I thought it was like a 1950s movie maybe or something. Yeah. Because he was, that's when he did most of his movies, I think.
Totally.
50s, 60s, yeah.
But yeah, King Krule. So, I mean, he starts making, he came out with the first album in 2013. Yeah. Beneath the Moon, which had a bunch of tracks on it from previous EPs or singles. I mean, overall, this guy's doing, it's like alternative jazz. What would you call it? Jazz fusion. It's influenced by hip hop. He has rap influences.
The description I've seen written about it is they say it blends elements of punk jazz with hip hop, dark wave, and trip hop. I feel like that's kind of a good way to describe it. But I also, I mean, personally, if I was to describe it myself, I would say he's kind of like it's almost kind of like London ska. Yeah. Not full on punk, but there's that attitude in there.
Totally.
It's definitely in his voice and the way he delivers things. You can hear his accent in there. And
he just really, really spreads it on there. Yeah. I mean, I like the punk jazz. It's kind of a punk vibe. Yeah. Where I'm coming from. Yeah. Or what I'm hearing.
Yeah, because he said the first album he listened to, the first album he was really into from beginning to end was like thePixies, Doolittle, I think was the name of the album.
Pretty good album. I don't know if I've heard that one, but I've heard it's good.
Yeah, I listened to a few tracks actually earlier. 1989 that album came out, but it sounds like 90s, Smashing Pumpkins type stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean they were pretty big, influential.
I know they were massive for a lot of people. Yeah, even Tori and Moi on the other episode.
Right. Yeah, he was like a lot of these guys have said the Pixies already. On
I feel like I need to go back and dive into the Pixies because I did see an old documentary years and years ago on TV about them. I found it really inspiring because he also said like the bass player is also doing a little bit of dubby things, and she's a female bass player as well.
Within the Pixies?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out too. I've only heard good things. I only hear that like one song that I hear at karaoke. Oh yeah. Or on the radio that they overplay.
Their hit.
Their one hit that I'm aware of. Yeah. I'm sure they have a bunch of great other stuff, which maybe one day we'll do a show on that.
Yeah, maybe we should. Yeah, I mean, they've got a whole load of albums out.
Yeah.
I think they're all still alive as well. They just broke up, I think. But
that's
the
sad.
Pixies, I think. Yeah.
Shame. I mean, not shame.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, it
anyway.
happens, right? I don't know.
They got bigger and better things going on. Exactly. But yeah, so like this guy's doing alternative jazz, punk jazz, post-punk kind of hip hop stuff. Like he just doesn't care, mixing the genre no matter what. Kind of using minimal instrumentation though, it seems like. It's not a big wall of sound. It's not a lot going on, high, weird, wacky production. It's like, here's the sounds of the instruments and we're going to like just really play them hard or soft, very dynamically. But to create these awesome kind of intricate soundscapes.
Yeah, I think like it was his first single. So his first ever official release of anything was called Out Getting Ribs. And he was 17 years old in that music video. I've heard other people say he was 19 when it came out, but
yeah, and I don't know. Like, I'm not even sure what he was doing before that, but I saw one video clip of him playing at Glastonbury.
Yeah, he's probably doing just live shows before he released.
I mean, he's just a kid. That's amazing. Yeah, so he's already playing big shows.
Yeah.
And kind of becoming an influential person in the community. And
in that track, there's two versions of it. I think there's a version that's on his first EP or first album. Yeah. And it's got some drums at a certain point in it. But I heard the actual official first release, and it was just him and guitar.
Are the two tracks quite different?
But they're pretty much the same. The second one's a little bit more produced. Like the first one is just like him on guitar. It's still kind of produced. You can hear effects in it and
stuff. Do you
think
like he was trying to figure out what he was trying to do? He's like, what is my sound? Let me experiment a little bit. Or was there...
For sure, yeah. Well, the thing about that song is kind of funny. It's like you can hear all of his mistakes on the guitar. Like,
and they just left him in?
He's just like, yeah, but it's part of... I feel like it's part of what makes the atmosphere of the track.
Yeah, he's delivering in a kind of a candid style.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean, like kind of punky. Like I don't care if it sounds rough.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like let's just do.
That attitude of just like
I am what I am.
Yeah.
Totally.
But about that he did say he said he's always constantly evolving, and so I think that's an actually interesting thing to talk about because. I don't know if we've mentioned it before in other episodes, but I definitely talked about this with like Shahan, for example, kind of thing, and other people about like, when is a track or a project ready to be released? You know, because you can, as creative people, we keep working on things forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
Chasing perfection or something like that.
When is it done? When am I done? When am I satisfied?
Yeah. But I think in reality, like the most gratifying thing is to put something out and then move on to the next thing, because you're never going to be perfect. You're always going to be constantly evolving, And so I feel personally like it's better to evolve out in public rather than, in your bedroom, hidden away for 10 years, not releasing anything. And I think that's what he did because he's super young, 17, 19 years old, released that one track. There's fucking mistakes in it. Like it's rough. Recording quality is kind of lo-fi. But not quite, it's sort of semi-produced. But it was like, that punk attitude, don't give a fuck.
I like that.
Just put it out. And like he said in other interviews, he's constantly evolving. So he was asked about the first album, like what was the oldest track and what was the newest track. And I forgot what those were. But he said he could hear his own development.
Within the same release.
Yeah, within that time period, because it was like 4 years or something like that,
Yeah, so he totally takes on that idea, that mindset of being in the middle of a process, kind of always, and that's what I've been thinking about a lot. You never get that kind of hit of gratitude, like I'm done, I did it with a release or with any kind of project or goal.
Yeah,
and I think you're stronger if you kind of come from that mindset as I'm in a process and I'm gonna do it, see it in the past, look in my rear view.
Yeah.
Learn how to do something better,
or
a different way, get a new perspective,
and
that's a pretty cool thing to do. So I respect this guy for kind of doing that, because a lot of people don't want to release their stuff because I'm still working on it. I'll be a better producer next year. Or you're gonna die next year and you never got that music out, and it didn't get allowed to be shared with the world.
I mean, what fun story! Like I recorded drums on the track with this guy in UK in like 2005 or 2006, and then 2011 or 2012 he sent me the CD in the mail. I'd already moved to America, I'd done all this stuff.
There it is.
And he sent me this thing, I was like, wow. He'd like produced it and changed shit and stuff like that, but I was like, wow, that was a long
Was
time.
it good?
I mean, I like the tracks. You know,
Yeah.
it was a good thing. It was just like, well, that's just too long though to keep a project
Bottled up.
too like over. You just get to a point where you're just overworking stuff too much. And I'm not sure what Archie's process is. Whether he, I mean, obviously there's probably some element of him agonizing over.
Well, it's cool because he's kind of his own. He's like a single artist as himself, but he has a band around him, kind of like Ariel Pink. Yeah. Where he's like, I'm an artist and these are my songs, but he gives a lot of freedom to his band to come up with the parts that they like and that they want.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that interesting dynamic between creative freedom between different people's worlds in their heads.
Yeah.
It's often a super difficult thing and a point of frustration for a lot of artists.
Creative freedom.
Who's leading the way or directing. I don't know, communication is always the best thing to do, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's what they do.
Yeah.
And it's working out really well.
Yeah.
And I think that whole band is on the first album, right? Beneath the Moon on 2013.
Yeah. So it's 6 feet beneath the moon. Yeah. I didn't find out who was actually on the album, whether it was all him or the band.
I think as far as I know, it's the band. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If anybody knows, let us know. Mm-hmm. That'd be great. But it's definitely a cool album.
Yeah.
Dark alternative kind of jazz.
Yeah.
Is what I'm kind of hearing from this.
Yeah, for sure.
Some more of his like punk jazz and jazz fusion, a little post punk.
Yeah.
His voice is kind of like a baritone, kind of low. He's got that kind of thick accent. Yeah. So it kind of, it's a cool vibe that he creates. Yeah. And I think he's really cool at creating vibes, and like you said, he's learning with every release. Yeah. So
he actually called his sound Bluewave.
He coined that term, right?
Yeah, and it was funny. The interviewer was saying, so he's like, "Is this actually something you come up, or did a journalist call this?" Because you know how artists can't describe, like Tori Amos didn't like. How do they describe his music again?
Hypnagogic,
chillwave, yeah. And he didn't like that,
right?
But yeah, Archie actually he came up with Bluewave.
Like I did it. Thank
you. This is the thing, and he said it was really cool actually the way he described it. He was like, blue is the tone, the color, like the feeling, just the color kind of thing, and then wave is just kind of what's happening within us as people and between each other, kind of thing.
Which is pretty cool. That's pretty cohesive little vibe. Idea.
Yeah.
I think it's cool because he does seem to be a pretty visual guy.
Absolutely.
Like he was at the School of Brit.
Yeah.
Brit
School of Brit. Yeah, the Brit School.
And so he's doing all these different kinds of arts, and I think somewhere in between his releases, he released an album under his own name.
Yeah.
Archie Marshall.
Yeah.
That he made with his brother, and that ended up being like a lot of, I don't know where this is in his discography, maybe I'm jumping ahead, but he released it and there's like a whole visual component to it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like how this guy's like he wants to do art and he's well-rounded, like give people the visual, let's give him a whole package.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he's just a kid basically,
Yeah.
So that's a cool album. I definitely start with that one.
Should we play, before we move on, one more track from that album?
Yeah.
I had one lined up, but is there one that you stood out to you whilst you were listening to it?
Jay, I specifically want to hear the one you have loaded up.
This one's called Will I Come? COME. It's not a rude title.
No. Explicit.
There you go.
Well, if only I had a heart to rip into, because you owe me a breakdown that would not include not to stay around and see this night through. Girl, don't stay around and bathe with me in blue. one of those things. Just one of those things. Just wanna let you know.
One of my favorite aspects about this guy's music, that was a great track.
Yeah, super short track, but yeah, it's really vibey.
It's cool, yeah. It highlights how he's blending these genres and mostly using real instruments, I think. But very, almost liberally, like on that track, using samples from other music that he likes. Yeah. So I think that's pretty cool. That was a dope track.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
good choice.
A lot of textures in his music. He does a lot of messing around with beats. But he's also a guitarist, and that kind of I don't know how to describe his guitar playing. It's not ska, because ska is more like skanky, like I think. I don't know. But it's drenched in reverb a lot of the time. His like guitar, it's very jazzy chords and stuff. But there's still something punky to it.
I think it's the weird chord progressions and kind of almost dissonant chord changes that he does, so it gives it that kind of odd, punky, grungy kind of vibe. But he's playing also kind of nice chords, and it's a nice sounding guitar, so it's really smooth and atmospheric. Yeah, blending. So I mean, this guy's you can hear like 5 or 6 genre influences in that one track alone. For sure, and it's super cool.
Yeah. And the cool thing I found about the title of the album, 6 Feet Beneath the Moon, he was asked about the title of it, and he said that...
and his brother did the artwork, I think.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
I think he does the artwork for all his albums. By the way, I don't even know if it's not what you were going to talk about.
No, but that's a cool thing to know. Fun fact. And we'll talk about that in a minute, his album he did with his brother. But yeah, the artwork's fucking dope as well. So, but he said it was kind of like... He said like the moon represents like the ambition, like the pinnacle of where you want to be, and so being 6 feet beneath it is kind of, you're almost there. You can bask in the, the moon's pretty big.
It's like you're almost there, 6 feet from the moon. So it's like I like it because you're close to the moon.
You can almost touch it, kind of thing. Yeah.
But then also like 6 feet under is like a reference to being dead. Yeah. I think so. It's like a pretty heavy kind of dynamic. Title there.
This is just in the title alone. It's heavy.
Just the title. Thick. Because I know being the moon. I mean, I've been. If you invest in like Bitcoin or Ethereum, like we were talking about the other day, last time,
off air.
A lot of the people in the commenters would be like, "We're going to the moon," referencing when it just skyrockets.
That is a saying, right? Yeah. Yeah. To the moon.
Yeah. So there's something.
Isn't that what Buzz from Lightyear said in? No, it's to infinity and beyond.
Yeah. But same kind of idea, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't know where that comes from. I'll have to look that up. Where the moon is representative of what did he like? Where he's trying to go, his ambitions. Yeah. The moon is ambition. Yeah. And where he wants to be, and he's kind of drawn to that.
Yeah.
And like you said, 6 feet from it, so he's close.
Yeah. Which is a good place to feel creatively if you feel that way.
Yeah, like you're on the edge, you're on the brink of something greater.
Yeah, because a lot of times as creative people, we feel so far away from that. Like, really trying to create this thing, but it's not coming out how I want it to be, kind of thing. So to get to the point where you're feeling like you're all like 90% there, kind of thing, it's pretty cool.
I mean, to get to 90% of a project like at these calibers is, artists know that there's a lot of work and time that goes into it. So yeah, I totally know where he's coming from. Super cool concept. I like how he's building these visuals, these kind of artistic concepts based on the phrasing of his album titles and stuff like that. So super well rounded, and that's a great album.
Yeah, and that was the other concept about his name as well. This interviewer asked him why not just call yourself Archie Marshall, because it's a good name, And he said he likes the theater of creating a character. Mm-hmm. So it's like a whole world that he can create, like sonically and visually.
I feel like that's great for him because I bet he's kind of learned to compartmentalize. Like, I'm with my mom, I'm with my dad, I'm at the hospital, like I'm at school, I'm doing these different things. Maybe that's where it came from. Yeah. Mm. And it's like it's kind of easier to conceptualize what he's trying to do by like looking at it from afar, from another perspective, rather than like, I am King Krule. Here's the lyrics. Kind of seeing like, what is that guy up to? Yeah. I guess kind of disassociating, looking at yourself from somebody else's perspective. Yeah. Maybe I don't know. I'm talking crazy.
No, you're not talking crazy. Because that reminds me of an Elvis Presley movie I saw.
Not King Creole.
Not King Creole, and it actually wasn't. It wasn't Elvis Presley. It was recently. It was like 10 years ago. It was or something like that. It's a movie. So it's someone else playing Elvis, but it was about how he met Nixon or wanted to meet President Nixon in the Oval Office. I forget the name of the title, the movie, and who was in it. But
was it a documentary or like
it was a film?
Okay.
There has been a documentary about it as well, but this was like a dramatized version of it. And there's one moment in the movie where Elvis is in a hotel room in Washington, and he's like, his best friend is there talking to him because he had an entourage. Actually, Elvis had like his two best buddies from like his childhood that would come with him everywhere, so they knew him before he was famous and that type of thing. And there's this moment in the movie where he's talking about I forget exactly what they said. Like his friend said something about, but you're Elvis, like you can do anything and stuff like that. And he was like, well, yeah, but Elvis is a character. He's like, when I walk into a room, people see Elvis, but people don't see me, like as a person, kind of thing. I don't know how true that was because it was in a dramatized movie or not, or whether Elvis felt that way. But I think Elvis might have felt that and it happens a lot with massive artists like Michael Jackson. Always, anyone that becomes like super famous, like is the celebrity them or is it the persona they've created?
It's almost like they're trying to come up with a coping mechanism of handling the fame and their artistic outlet. Yeah, like I don't know. Like they're thinking, I mean, I don't know. Like I've never been at that level of fame or anything, and hopefully I never have to. Or more.
Yeah, it sounds pretty horrible.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds kind of rough on a lot of these people. Yeah. In different cases, works out different, but
and I think so. The reason I said all that is because I think, Archie's he's a down to earth person, and he's more interested in the art of creating music, rather than trying to be a personality, So like if he was releasing music under his own name, then the record label will want to promote him. And it's kind of like the Jessie Ware thing we talked about in a previous episode where my opinion of her was that she's a really great artist, but I feel like her management and her label is trying to promote her as some kind of personality type thing.
Right.
And I feel like King Krule, Archie has avoided that by having all these pseudonyms and creating sonic soundscapes to go with these pseudonyms and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, it sounds great. I love this guy so far. Yeah. He had that. We want to go on to the second album.
Yeah.
Second full length LP. Mm-hmm. The Ooze.
The Ooze. Yeah.
2017, or maybe I already said that. But it's a blue album title. Looks like some kind of an airplane with a chemtrail.
It does, or it looks like a space rocket hurling to Earth. I'm not sure what it is. It could be.
But kind of, minimalist thing, minimalist artwork, which looks cool. I don't know if his brother did that one, but I thought that's what I read, that his brother did all the artwork. Yeah. But this is a pretty cool album, a little more minimalistic, a little more... Yeah. A lot of the songs seem a little more kind of like sketches, like they almost want to be like a full produced song, but they never get that, they never get there. They kind of just ride this kind of vibe that's wanting to go somewhere. Yeah. Pretty interesting. Were you able to listen to any of the tracks?
Yeah, for sure. I got this one here, Emergency Blimp, which I really liked.
Let's hear something off it.
Let's hear a little bit of this. Yeah.
Sounds good.
alive. These pills just make me drown. I say these pills just make me, these pills just make me, these pills just make me, these pills just make me drown. I told him he wouldn't do nothing right. So he told me what's wrong. No change, see it through by. I gave that for the cool. This nigga when I told him I played, he told me I was wrong. He told me I was. And now she sat alone deep in the night. She's sitting in a pool, makes decisions in the right hand side. Her blood is in the soul. Oh yeah, blood is in. Oh yeah, blood is in. Oh yeah, blood is in. Oh yeah, blood is in the soul. Eternal blood is in. God blood is in. Eternal blood is in. Oh yeah, blood is in.
Yeah.
Sick.
That's probably one of the more driving tracks from that album, actually, right?
Yeah, I think
the rest
so.
of it is a lot more subdued.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. But great track. I mean,
Yeah.
pretty kind of beachy on that one.
Yeah.
Or surfy, you know, a little surf rock kind of
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
That's what I heard.
I hear it now. You say it. It still felt punky to me.
Pretty punk, little surf, little California vibe.
Yeah, I hear that now for sure.
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, this guy's hitting some spots that I really love, even though that's not the genre that, you know, almost anybody would describe him as. But like you said, that's kind of one of the only songs that's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, showing some diversity and variation on his album.
And simple as well, because it is kind of minimalistic in a certain way. It's just, it sounds like it's just drums, guitar. I don't even really hear bass in that. That
was very garagey. It sounded like guitar, bass, drums, and vocals. Pretty...
And some
simple instrumental.
Like that.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know if he had some samples in there or something, but overall, super cool track.
Yeah.
That whole album's kind of, you can hear it in the vocals. It's kind of moody. It's kind of sad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kind of depressing vibe. But he kind of builds off of that. You know, again, these feelings that are in his head.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to talk about his lyrical approach a little bit?
Yeah.
Did you hear him talk about much of that? Or
I mean, like I was kind of just touching on before, how I think a lot of his lyrics are coming from all the tracks in his album sound like they're kind of trying to figure out what's going on in his own head, and kind of what he's going through, like from depression or anxiety, which, you know, I don't know, maybe doesn't sound like the most unique thing to talk about. A lot of people are saying they feel this way these days, but again, it's also a super unique experience
to him. It's like a personal expression of what he's going through.
And that's there's no way anybody can relate to that specifically, which is what gives him that freedom to talk about it and describe his own experience.
He said he also, like, from a technical standpoint, well, not technical, I don't know if this is technical or not, but like he said he used to read a lot of poetry a lot when he was younger, but he didn't always really understand it, and so he spent a long time kind of rereading it and trying to decipher its meaning, kind of thing. And he said that sort of inspired him in the way he constructs, like, his lyrics now, how he wants to describe things, kind of thing. Cool. I think he like thinks a lot about metaphors, kind of thing, and how.
I think he used a lot of metaphor, a lot of simile.
I
think he was talking about one of his earlier albums or EPs, or even I think he was talking about a band he was in before King Krule came out with the first release, and just saying they're a little bit more wild. The lyrics were less subdued, but it was a lot of metaphor and simile, but they're talking about kind of dark, some heavier, darker, funny stuff. It's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Masked through metaphor and simile.
Yeah, that reminds me actually of his first ever track that he said he recorded. He was 8 years old.
8 years old. Did he also have a 4-track like all the other guys?
Yeah, I don't know actually. I think he just might have recorded on cassette
That's
tape.
the way he did it, yeah.
Karaoke machine. I don't know actually. Yeah, maybe he did have a 4-track. But it was funny. He said it was a bad track and he didn't like it. Obviously, he was 8 years old, whatever. But he said the lyrics were dark. He said
already coming from a dark place.
Yeah, he said it was about a dinner lady getting lost and then no one could find her and then they found her in a barn or something like that.
That's pretty heavy lyrical content.
Seems like a CSI episode.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little disturbing.
Yeah.
I would watch that episode.
Yeah, exactly. How does that end? I don't know.
He's still going. This is the story of King Krule, and he's still writing that story, I think.
Absolutely.
But that's a pretty cool album. It's a pretty fatty album. It's 19 tracks. It's over an hour long.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would say that's a little bit of a, it doesn't need to be that long, maybe.
You mean you think it could be shorter, or do you think?
I mean, what's my place to say? But I like albums that are a little shorter than that. Like I don't think this album. I don't think every track was so great that it warrants being over an hour long. No, a lot of good stuff on there. I'm not dissing.
There's a lot of short songs though, right? Is it like just a lot, like you said, like a lot of short ideas that doesn't feel quite finished?
Yeah, like they're like a kind of a scratchy kind of track, minimalist. Just kind of record and see what we get, and then call it good.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but it's a good album.
Yeah.
This guy's just doing his thing.
Well, let's backtrack a little bit because you have talked about his brother, I think Jack Marshall.
Right.
Who does his artwork, and we mentioned it briefly a little bit earlier on. They did a album together, although I don't think his brother was musical, so he didn't do any of the music.
I think he helped collaborate on bringing in the poems and the artwork.
Yeah. And so he decided to release that under his own name, Archie Marshall. Mm-hmm. It's called, what was it, A Place to Drown or something?
Yeah, and 2 is the number 2.
The number 2, yeah.
For searching that.
And so, like, he did put this out in between his first album and this new album, The Ooze. This came out in 2015.
This came out before The Ooze?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, under his own name. And like you said earlier, they did a book as well with all of his artwork, Jack's artwork. They did a documentary as well, which I watched. It's on YouTube, I think. You can go and check that out.
Yeah.
Which kind of shows the process, shows Archie doing some artwork as well in the studio. Shows his mum. His mum's in the video and stuff like that. It was super interesting. Very gritty though. It's like a really edgy documentary, like art documentary.
I don't think I came across that one, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, but the music is entirely different, and I love this album. Like as soon as I first found it, it's like I want to play a track from it, but it's very polished and it's like beaty. It's dark. Okay. It's kind of a little bit like Massive Attack in a way, or something like that.
Sure, it's a little different than King Krule's.
I think it's completely different. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, well,
I didn't listen. Sorry to interrupt. I didn't listen to it.
That's cool. Yeah, I feel like you can still tell he did it, but it's like a completely different vibe. So I'll play a bit of this track.
I'm excited.
It's called Ammi. I think it's called Ammi. AMMI space AMMI.
Ammi.
Okay, maybe I don't know.
Am I?
Yeah, maybe.
Amy. Anyway,
maybe it's in the lyric.
Yeah. He's about to explain it all right now.
Exactly, and he did this with Jamie Isaac, who was one of his early collaborators.
Cool, getting back together, get the band back together.
Exactly. Yeah, here we go.
Boys and girls, the Lord is the one who gives us new life, and he's doing a
I slowly slid into a pool of gold. She takes my hand and doesn't let go. I feel it deep within my soul. Her whisper resonates my bones. I'm slowly here and I slowly drift away. She's the type I carry by my side. Keeps me balanced, keeps her talents in my fire. Reminds me of the damage of how I live my life. Keeps my salary, damn it's hanging on the line. Her love's unlimited, she lays there playing Barry White. Girl, she plays me Barry White. All night, we drift into the light.
We just look and let days roll by.
Roll by.
We don't care whether day or night. We just smoke and let days roll by. We just smoke and let days roll by. We don't care whether day or night. We just smoke and let days roll by. We don't care whether day or night. We just smoke and let days roll by.
So yeah, it's like a lot more beaty.
Yeah, that song was sick, dude.
It's like a polished sound as well on the beats.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, the whole album's like that same vibe.
That's tight, dude. I'm gonna have to definitely give that one a listen.
Yeah, and the video as well. The documentary is really interesting. It shows him in his bedroom. It looks super ghetto.
Is that where he made the album?
It looks like it. I mean, or at least came up with some of the ideas. Because I can't believe he made the production quality. He literally had like this old crappy table and there's like a mattress in this room. It's like in this house in London kind of thing, and he's just smoking spliffs and playing around on this the MPC beat machine, same machine that DJ Shadow made.
These similarities, these synchronicities.
Yeah, he was making beats on there, and he was just sampling like jazz records and stuff in the video, at least. So
I like the bass on that track.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah,
was that? It sounds like a lot of live instrumentation though. Or is it mostly all samples?
It's hard for me to tell because it seems like a polished sound.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's some live instrumentation going on there for sure.
That's what I'm picking up on too, but I don't know.
Yeah, like the bass line seems pretty live.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Kind of thing.
Super dope, man.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a cool project. And then
and that was right before the Ooze, so that was like 2012 or something like that.
Yeah. So that was 2012. When was the Ooze? That was 2017.
The Ooze was 2017. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So he takes a few years between these things.
Yeah, I think I remember him saying that he'd like to take his time. Like, why aren't you releasing more stuff? Like, I don't know. This guy's been pretty prolific, obviously. But I don't know. I think in an interview, somebody asked him, like, why aren't you making more stuff? And he likes to take the time to, like, really build up something that's worth a release.
Yeah.
For at least to his standard and how he feels about it.
I think it's because here's a few things. One, I think he's a prolific songwriter, music maker.
Yeah.
I just think he doesn't release everything. And I think the other part of it is it comes back to his concept of creating a character, and King Krule's a character. So it takes time for him to create like a sonic world for that character.
Get up in that mindset and really create something of true value.
Yeah, because he does, in the meantime, he has like a few SoundCloud accounts with weird names on them.
How many accounts does this guy have? He's got.
I know of 2. He might have more. One is called Return of the Pimp Shrimp.
Good name.
And the other one is called DJ JD Sports.
Okay. Oh yeah, I did come across that one.
Yeah. Do you know what JD Sports is? Is that in America? Is it in America?
It sounds super familiar.
It's like a sports shop in the UK.
Okay.
It's like Foot Locker or something like that.
I guess I'm thinking of Scrubs. JD.
Oh, okay. The TV show Scrubs.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think I know that name from somewhere else too as well. But that's all I got.
Yeah. So he's like, he'll just open up the SoundCloud account under a weird name, upload a bunch of music to it.
So he is like kind of how he's saying his parents were just always making music but not releasing it. Like he's kind of got that same vibe, just creating stuff.
Yeah, I feel like he's always just creating stuff. And
so he had. I mean, you mentioned he had these SoundCloud accounts. He's also gone under Zoo Kid. Yeah,
that was his very first name, which I think he dropped because he said he didn't want to be known as a kid his whole life. That's
so he
the
didn't
reason
want
he dropped
that name on there.
Yeah.
And he also went under Edgar the Beatmaker. He has something released under that.
Yeah, I think that's probably another SoundCloud account as well.
Okay, there you go. Which I'll have to check out because this guy obviously is pretty versatile. Making cool music.
Yeah.
2017 he had the Ooze, big moody 19-track beast.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And then in 2020, this year came out with Man Alive.
Yeah.
In February, so earlier.
Yeah.
But I listened to this over the past couple of days, and this is my favorite stuff that I've heard from him. Besides that album that you just played.
Yeah, it's weird because the album I just played, what was that? What is it called again? A Place to Drown.
Yeah.
For me, that's my most favorite work he's put out under his own name because it's like really consistent and really vibey.
Yeah. Sounds like I'm gonna like it too when I listen to it.
Yeah, the King Krule stuff is like a bit experimental, like, but yeah, his new album for sure. It sounds like it's an improvement on the Ooze. I feel like
kind of a little bit. He's grown a little bit more mature. It's a slow burn of an album. The songs take a little bit longer to kind of unfold, but they do unfold.
Yeah.
Good drums and bass. I would say pretty cool.
Yeah.
Almost like a post-hardcore influence vibe there that I was picking up on.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty tight and technical.
Yeah.
I thought this was super cool. I listened to it pretty late at night.
Okay, nice.
And I think it's
a good late night vibe thing. I think, really,
just like it's not wall of sound. It's really delicate and really spacey, kind of jazzy, but still kind of got his dark overtone. But very beautiful, very vibey. Did you have any favorite tracks off of that one?
A couple, yeah. There's one called Stoned Again and Alone, Omen 3.
Yeah, nice. I guess, I mean, I don't even know why I asked. I don't really know all the song names. But I know the song if I played it.
Yeah, was there one that stood out to you when you were listening to it? Or
I can't recall off the top of my head because I was like listening to it just kind of laying down and I wasn't looking at it, which I kind of have a tendency to do, which is cool because I don't want to have to always associate the name with it when I'm listening to it for the first couple times.
Yeah.
But for purposes like this, it's very doesn't really work.
It's important, Jesse. We need to know the name. No, I'm just joking.
Notes taken.
Yeah.
No, but I remember I think he used in multiple tracks different samples from Radiohead, which I thought was super cool.
He did? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
In this album?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just kind of in there, not super upfront.
What type of samples? Like from songs of theirs?
Off the top of my head, just one weird one. I can't remember which song it was. I just know that's definitely like from Kid A or something.
Ah, interesting.
Like, Kid A is a little bit of an old album now. So
it is.
From a while ago, but I think...
I remember when I first got that album though. That's a story for another
really?
time. Yeah.
That would be a cool story for another time.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we could have
I want to do. I think we should do Radiohead. Unfortunately, listeners, all of the music probably be cut out because they're a massive band. But we should see. We could just do it anyway. Whatever.
Yeah. No, I love Radiohead.
Because I love Radiohead as well. They got a super deep catalog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
a lot of good stuff.
Very good musicians and everything.
Obviously, super influential to people like this. You know, making music in 2020. Radiohead started in even in the 70s. Maybe is that?
No, not the 70s.
Is that too far? Maybe the
90s.
No, 90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah. 70s is way far away.
Yeah, they were just born in the 70s. I think.
Okay, yeah.
They're not that old.
Whatever. Yeah, good vibe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're ambient. It's ghostly.
Yeah.
It's pretty seductive. It's. I don't know. Do you want to play a track off of it right now?
Yeah. I forgot how it sounds. I'm just gonna play it.
Let's check it out all together right now here on Roots to Grooves.
Stoned Again.
My sweet and sour, my lemon honey. I ran all the way home that night, ran all the way home, right back to my mommy. Yelling loud in the park, XR, anything do, keep you uppy. The cars in my road almost hit me in a hurry. The cars were just a sign of an uppy. Down in the dirt, I used to surf with my bucket from Kentucky. I had a scratch card, I scratched so hard, cause I'm feeling fucking lucky, boy, I'm feeling so lucky. Now my 10th birthday, got a puppy. Now I'm back in the park, with the middle class Europe's trying to get lucky. I was little and small, made me feel so yucky. Put it on my brain, bored, another fucking junkie. Bored, another fucking scrap. Torn apart. I was little and small, we swore at night. I'm stoned again. I'm stoned again. I'm high again. Boy, I'm stoned again. I'm stoned again. I'm low again. Yeah, she's my sweet and sour, my lemon honey. I ran all the way home that night, ran all the way home, right back to down in the heart. I used to pick up all the pieces and I went home. I used to pick it up, I used to pick it up. I'm stoned again, I'm stoned again, I'm high again. Whoa!
Yeah, that's that guitar again there. I think he probably uses the guitar more in his King Krule stuff than he does in any of his other types of things that he does.
It seems to be a little bit of the glue that he uses for that project.
Yeah, that's probably one of the textures, one of the
Which I love.
things. Yeah,
Me some guitar on any genre of music.
any genre.
Yeah, I mean, guitar is kind of a popular instrument, you know.
Is it?
I saw this one store. They just called it the Guitar Center.
Really?
And, yeah, they just have guitar stores out there.
There's a whole center.
A center for them. It's like it's some kind of headquarters or something. I don't know.
Wow, are they going to take over the world?
No, actually maybe the opposite. I think the one in Seattle closed.
I think they're all closed. That's where I used to get my drumsticks from, and now I can't go anywhere. I have to go to freaking Bellevue or somewhere.
Ah, what a hassle!
Or order them online or something. That's
Where's
crazy.
the drum center? You know, there's a niche that needs to be filled.
There used to be a drum center somewhere in the world. I've been to. That's a whole nother story. I love drum stores going in.
Music stores are fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
music stores are fun.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So that was pretty freaking recently, and I don't think he's been touring very much because of obvious reasons this year.
Yeah, I did manage to see him live though when he had the Ooze out. He played here at the Showbox in Pike Place Market. Okay. Yeah.
You're kind of close to both the Showbox right here.
Yeah, the other one is next to the other Signl studio.
You got Personal Showbox Studios.
Personal, which I actually don't like the. I don't know if you've ever been there, Showbox Sodo.
Yeah, I've been to both.
Yeah,
both cool.
I don't like the sound quality there because it's like a big warehouse and it's not like acoustically treated very well. And
yeah, and they have the bar in there, so it doesn't seem. It's just like a big empty Amazon warehouse room.
Kind of, yeah. So the sound doesn't really work so well unless you're like up close to the stage or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he played at the smaller one, which is a lot cooler venue. It almost feels like a kind of old school cabaret type vibe in there kind of thing.
A little like a speakeasy almost.
Kind of, yeah. And yeah, I think they took super long to come out on stage. They were just getting stoned backstage or something. It's Seattle, right? You know.
This guy's he's a punk. He's a rock star.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's on his own time.
And that song we just played was called "Stoned Again." And actually, there's a hilarious. Well, it's not that hilarious. It's just funny to see him being interviewed by the High Times.
I was almost going to bring that up. I saw that interview and I was like, this guy...
He's wearing these sunglasses and he's just like...
Do they provide you like, hey, here's 5 joints, go ahead?
They must do. Yeah, they're in California and it's the High Times.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's great. We'll have to do an episode.
Yeah, he said, well, shit, I don't know if I can handle that. I'll be weird.
Nor can I.
Super weird.
Yeah, I'm already too weird.
Yeah, you will. Anyway, no, I'm just...
Okay, call me out, bro.
Yeah, right. No, what was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, because he said the weed is like purer here in America or something because it's not legal in the UK, so you get a lot of shit over there.
That makes sense.
And he was spliffs are a thing over there. Smoking the not so pure weed with tobacco at the same time. So
well, mask it up, just cover it, just kind of blend it.
Yeah, and he was asked like High Times asked him what's his preferred method of smoking, and he was like, well, I started with a friend just ripping bongs, and I think he was kind of like, you saw this interview, right?
I think so.
He was like, that's like a hardcore way to do it. He didn't say hardcore, but I think that's pretty much kind of what he was trying to say.
Right.
It's like, it's a bit much to like be. I mean, I was there. I did that as well. It was a thing in teenage England doing bongs.
Yeah, bongs hit hard, man. You just need one solid hit, and like boom, you're heading to the moon.
Yeah, you head through the moon.
You're 6 feet from the moon.
On the other side.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. I mean, that's all I got on this guy. I mean, that's up to date. He just dropped this album in 2020. I just discovered it.
So he has done some collaborations though. Mount Kimby is another artist out of the UK. It's like a duo kind of thing. And he's done like 2 features on 2 separate albums with them, which kind of sonically reminds me a bit more of the A Place to Drown type sound kind of thing.
Cool.
And
these just came out this year?
No, these were a while ago.
Okay.
One of them, I think the first one, let's have a look here, was...
So this guy's always working on music.
2013 was one of his appearances on Mount Kimby. The other one was in 2017. So one of them has a music video for it as well. I think You Took Your Time is one of the ones that has a music video. I think so, yeah. Super cool tracks though. They're another great group.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of content if you get into this guy, a lot of different branches of his style and what he's trying to do.
And if you're not watching it and miss it, or if the media don't catch it, you might miss some tracks kind of thing.
Yeah, no, he's got some deep cuts.
Yeah, I feel like his so on his SoundCloud, on his Return of the Pimp Shrimp SoundCloud, he has, you know, the header image, and the header image is a tweet from someone saying, "Oh, I found this Edgar the Beatmaker track, and I feel like it's like he should team up and do something with King Krule because it sounds really similar."
Oh, yeah, these guys are dope.
He's like trolling himself. I don't know what's happening with that thing.
Was it from like one of his Twitter accounts or something? When
yeah, like I think
replying to himself.
No, someone else had tweeted that about Edgar the Beatmaker, and then he made that his header image on Return from the Pimp Shrimp. It's like the Inception or something.
Yeah, it's getting meta. Who's who? Who's King Krule? Who's Edgar? Exactly. Who are all these people making this dope music?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to date, man. That's all I got on this guy. He's dope.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
he's been on David Letterman.
Yeah.
So he's been on some big shows in the States.
Yeah. Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah, I think he did that and another one, Jimmy Kimmel or something like that.
Yeah, I think Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah. I think the Ooze won a Met Award or something, or what is it? What is it called?
No Grammys yet. No Grammys yet for King Krule.
No, but he's on his way. Oh, he was nominated for a Mercury Prize for the Ooze in 2017.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know about Mercury Prizes, but it sounds cool. I want one.
The Mercury Prize is a really cool thing in the UK. I don't know why I think that, but I do think that.
It's not Freddie Mercury.
You know, I don't know why they call it a Mercury Prize, but it's basically the only prize is best album, and the short list after going through so many people, like the night of the ceremony, is like 10 albums kind of thing, and they'll have like, you know, performances for each artist and stuff like that. And it's all voted for. It's like a critics award. So the only people that vote for it are journalists and music media and stuff like that. But all the tracks, all the albums that are usually in that Mercury Music Prize are all like, you know, things that have gone on to be like, you know, what's the way to say it? Like iconic albums and stuff like that.
Influential.
Yeah, something. Like Radiohead has been nominated a bunch of times and stuff like that. And so, yeah, to be part of that, I feel like, you know, they're sort of like must-listen albums because most of the time they're not. There's some mainstream things in there. Like I think Amy Winehouse might have won one once or was nominated. But
there's some overlap there. You can do something that's poppy and critically acclaimed, but also a statement and something new.
Yeah,
and
so
that's
like,
what they're kind of focused on.
Yeah, so like one year, this guy Ronnie Size won it. This album, Ronnie Size Represents. It was drum and bass. It was a really, I think, a pivotal drum and bass album that came out because it wasn't just all about dance music. It was like really intelligent drum and bass, like a lot of intricate samples.
Yeah.
When he played live, he had like this jazz drummer that was playing drum and bass beats live and stuff like that. And they had these racks of samplers with these old big computer monitors like back in the 90s.
That's cool. That's what I want to see. Yeah, that's dope.
That was a really great album and totally unexpected because it's not mainstream. There was not one hit. There was not one radio-friendly song on this double album. It was a double album that came out.
It's a big one.
It's like 20 tracks or 30 tracks or something. But we digress. I digress. But the Mercury Music Prize, yeah, I think like the fact that King Krule was part of that, I think it puts his albums in the league of. I
wasn't aware of how
classics. Yeah,
the importance of the value of the Mercury Prize was, but that sounds pretty cool. Like they got their head on straight and they're trying to celebrate good music. So if that's not a reason to listen to this guy, then don't.
Yeah,
forget it.
Interesting guy from London. Still developing his sound, I think.
Archie Marshall,
aka King Krule,
creating.
Yeah.
Love and life, getting through.
He's a father now. He's only 26 years old.
I just thought he has like a 1-year-old. He had him like in 2019, a little kid, a little girl, a little baby. I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah, with his girlfriend, I think, who's a photographer, filmmaker. She's, I think, directed a couple of his music videos as well.
Nice.
So
we should have said some of this stuff at the beginning of the episode.
I guess, yeah. But should we play out a collaboration he did with Mount Kimby?
That sounds great. Not that I've heard that, but
yeah,
you got the beats, bro.
I think you'll like it. We'll see. I'm gonna play Blue Train Lines from Mount Kimby featuring King Krule.
Sounds good.
Thanks everyone for listening.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This has been Roots to Grooves with Jay and Jesse.
We'll catch you on the flip-flop.
Keep it real.
Flip-flop.
Here's another thing that threw up in my mind like the razor blade in her wrist, locked in a closet of Deep Space Nine. Deposit for a wasted life. I lost it with a sweepstakes eye and another fucking fight. A junkie in the queue for the library line. That's another lost sight. A stabbing of his eyes. Her veins are now popping like blue train lines. Still bumping on the bathroom floor, and not for the thrust or what the mirror thought it saw. You got a clearer thought and pulled it straight out. You got me jumping from a real safe high. I want a fool forever if you ain't by my side. I want a fool forever if you ain't in my life. I guess been eating away when I found her. All drowned in grey, I might have drowned her. I could have played number, and yeah, I might have seen it all. Inhale, exhale, like never in this life before. It's lightly, it's down smoke settled in a fabric of the BME34. Dropping burger crumbs on the CD floor in the back 12 CD store. Got the radio rack and the CD door. But she's filled up on the end and she still needs more. That dying blood. £6 in my pocket. Or through another man's dream. And lose another man's sense. I guess he might have seen it all. I guess been eating away when I found her. All drowned in grey. I might have drowned her. Yeah, I might have seen it all. £6 in my pocket, or through another man's dream. Or lose another man's sense. I guess been eating away when I found her. All drowned in grey, I might have drowned her. I could have played number, and yeah, I might have seen it all.
Roots to Grooves is a production of Signl Radio. For more music and independent culture, visit signalradio.com. That's SIGNL radio.com.